Phoenix need to go get? Who? Tyus Jones.
The house is not on fire. We're in great position. It's not hard to fix. 26 of them would trade their whole team for our whole team and our draft picks and everything as is. Like,
it's been almost a month since NBA free agency officially started, and still my Los Angeles Lakers still haven't made any free agency transaction at all whatsoever. Meanwhile, the Western Conference continues to get stronger and stronger, and to be honest, the Phoenix Suns might have done something that could change everything for them this upcoming season. And no, I'm being absolutely serious. So before we get to the content, we are less than 15,000 subscribers away from 1 million subscribers. Make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications. Oh, I broke a nail. Damn, it bent back far. Make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? There's no question about it. The Phoenix Suns were last year's biggest laughingstock in the NBA, and how could you not be? Prior to Matt Ishbia owning the Phoenix Suns, the Suns were perceived as a team with a tremendous amount of assets, a lot of good contracts, and a plethora of depth. They had young players like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. They had a savvy veteran point guard leader in Chris Paul, teaming up with Monty Williams, and at least prior to the season where this all fell apart, they were in contention for an NBA championship. I personally think the thing that ruined everything for this team was the fact that DeAndre Ayton was the center iteration of Ben Simmons. I mean, the man really didn't care about improving his game at all whatsoever. He never developed a three-point jumper. He was complacent and never put that much effort on the defensive end. He disappeared in the postseason, and this is a guy that was supposed to be a franchise cornerstone for the Phoenix Suns, but he just didn't care to get better. And I personally believe that's the reason everything collapsed for the Phoenix Suns. I believe he's the reason that Monty Williams ended up getting fired. I believe he's the reason that Chris Paul ended up getting traded. And Matt Ishbia came in and cranked up the Phoenix Suns all the way to a 12, because Matt Ishbia would immediately come in and execute a midnight trade for Kevin Durant. In one of the craziest trades I've ever seen in NBA history, the Phoenix Suns traded Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Jay Crowder with 4 unprotected future first-round picks and a pick swap to the Brooklyn Nets in return for Kevin Durant. I personally thought this was a gigantic overpay, nothing against Kevin Durant at all whatsoever, but there is a huge question about how many more good years Kevin Durant really had in the tank, and to give up 4 first-round picks and a pick swap in years that you could very well be in the NBA cellar was considered to be a very bold move. And in the offseason, the Phoenix Suns would double down on this move, trading Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, their remaining first-round pick swaps in return for Bradley Beal. So pretty much the Phoenix Suns don't have first-round picks until 2030. Now on top of this, they decided to fire Monty Williams, so you would think that they would stand pat with DeAndre Ayton, but no. DeAndre Ayton would finally get traded to the Portland Trail Blazers in a package that would get the Phoenix Suns Jusuf Nurkic, which in my opinion is a huge upgrade. At least Nurkic tries to compete. And with that, the Phoenix Suns had a very strange starting lineup. When fully healthy, the lineup looked something like this: Jusuf Nurkic, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Grayson Allen. So the fit of Bradley Beal was a little strange, to say the least. Bradley Beal was essentially asked to play the point guard role when traditionally he was a scoring shooting guard throughout his entire career. He averages more assists than the average shooting guard should. Throughout his entire career, Bradley Beal averaged about 4.3 assists per game, but for the most part, there's no question about it, Bradley Beal's natural position was at shooting guard. Same with Devin Booker. So you pretty much had 3 players that excelled at either isolation scoring or some form of scoring, and nobody to really distribute the ball to them. Now in the past, this would be Chris Paul's job, but now Chris Paul's gone. So the Phoenix Suns had a huge gaping hole at the point guard position, and they didn't really have any assets to try to make a huge trade. Again, this is a team that is out of assets until 2030. Despite that, Matt Ishbia went viral for saying this:
Oh, it's extremely fixable. I mean, let's just be real. Although this isn't a cool narrative, and the national media really won't want to play it out there, but like, ask the other 29 GMs. 26 of them would trade their whole team for our whole team and our draft picks and everything as is. Like, the house is not on fire. We're in great position. It's not hard to fix.
Now, I have to give credit where credit's due. I hate to tell you guys, but 26 of the general managers in the NBA would not want to trade their team for the outdated blueprint of the Phoenix Suns. But now that Matt Ishbia backed them into this corner, the Phoenix Suns have no choice but to try to make do with what they have. No one's going to trade for Bradley Beal. If you were to trade Kevin Durant, you wouldn't really get even close to what you gave up for him. The fact that the Brooklyn Nets got that to begin with was a miracle. I mean, you literally saved the Brooklyn Nets decade by giving them that package for Kevin Durant. I mean, have you guys seen the overall trade package for Kevin Durant for the Brooklyn Nets? It's actually insane, because now that the Nets were able to trade Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks, this is what the trade package looks like. The Nets got Cameron Johnson, an unprotected 2023 first round pick, 2 unprotected 2025 first round picks, a top 4 protected first round pick from Milwaukee in 2025 as well, which is, by the way, set to be a very deep draft, 2 first round picks in 2027, 2 first round pick swaps in 2028, 2 first round picks in 2029, and a 2031 first round pick. I mean, once Ben Simmons' contract expires, this team is set. But in regards to the Phoenix Suns, they're in a much more difficult situation. They don't really have a lot of cap space to sign free agents. They also don't have any assets to make trades. And the most glaring need for this team is a starting point guard. And there happens to be a free agent that is currently available that is known as the best backup point guard in the entire NBA. Tyus Jones is one of my favorite players in the NBA, primarily because he is ridiculously underrated. I mean, I first tried to bring everyone's attention to Tyus Jones 2 years ago when Ja Morant had an injury where he had to sit out for 25 games in the 2022 season. The Memphis Grizzlies started out that season 36-21 with Ja Morant, averaged 114.7 points per game, and had their opposition average 112.5 points per game against them. Now, without Ja Morant, they went 20-5, scored 117.8 points per game, and their opposition dropped 104.2 on them as well. This is primarily because of 2 individuals, Tyus Jones and Dillon Brooks. And we all know what happened last offseason. Dillon Brooks signed with the Houston Rockets, and Tyus Jones got traded to the Washington Wizards in a trade that got the Memphis Grizzlies Marcus Smart. And we saw what would end up happening. The Memphis Grizzlies no longer were that dominant team with or without Ja Morant. It was without a doubt a huge downgrade for this franchise. And I don't really know how the Memphis Grizzlies are going to recover from that. This is primarily because Tyus Jones is one of the best backup point guards in the NBA and is incredible at getting his teammates involved, whereas Marcus Smart is a very good defensive 2 guard. I mean, just this past year alone, Tyus Jones averaged 12 points and 7 assists per game. And this is for the Washington Wizards, for crying out loud. So Tyus Jones was still available on the free agent market, and I was really hoping that my Los Angeles Lakers would finally do something. But alas, they didn't. Because according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Tyus Jones, the market's top remaining free agent guard, has agreed on a 1-year, $3.3 million deal with the Phoenix Suns. I love what Woj says in the next part of this tweet. Jones joins a West contender with a significant need at point guard, giving him a chance to impact and return to a more financially flush market next summer, a sizable addition for Phoenix. Now, what's crazy about this is Tyus Jones put out this long statement in regards to it, saying the chance to play for the Phoenix Suns made the most sense on a lot of levels to me and my family, beginning with the way that Governor Matt Ishbia in the front office recruited me, to how Coach Mike Budenholzer showed me how I can significantly impact a team that has a real opportunity to challenge for an NBA title as their starting point guard. My agent, Kevin Bradbury, walked me and my family through multiple free agent offers and sign and trade proposals at a number of different financial levels, but the Suns' opportunity is where I can maximize my value for a return to free agency next year, as well as give myself a chance to be part of what I think will be a special team next season. Now, it's very difficult to say whether or not the Phoenix Suns are going to be a special team next season. And this isn't anything against Phoenix, it's just one, the West is very competitive with teams that are built with the ideal model modern vision for an NBA franchise. I mean, the OKC Thunder have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who should have won MVP this past year, in addition to a plethora of depth, multiple future first-round picks, and Chet Holmgren, who looked incredible in his rookie year and should only continue to develop. The Denver Nuggets are starting to make moves. They were able to bring in Russell Westbrook, but they did lose Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, so maybe that's going to hurt them as well, but they were also able to bring in Dario Saric. The Minnesota Timberwolves first were able to retain their general manager, but they were able to make a trade for Rob Dillingham, and they're hoping that can make a difference. The Los Angeles Clippers without a doubt got weaker. The Dallas Mavericks are without a doubt the biggest winners of the Western Conference from June until now. It's crazy. They made it to the NBA Finals. They drafted well last year with Derek Lively. They were able to get themselves Klay Thompson as well, and they brought back an individual that was very key to their 2022 Western Conference Finals run in Spencer Dinwiddie. The New Orleans Pelicans had DeJounte Murray donated to them, and it doesn't even look like they're going to trade Brandon Ingram. The Los Angeles Lakers aren't even a play-in team. The Sacramento Kings got DeMar DeRozan. The Houston Rockets were on a roll at the end of last year, and I'm expecting them to improve going into this year. The Memphis Grizzlies are going to get John Morant back, and the San Antonio Spurs got even stronger around Victor Wembanyama, drafting Stephon Castle 4th overall, but also bringing in Chris Paul. So the Phoenix Suns at least did something that could change everything for them. This is probably the most they could affect their entire team in one offseason. They're handicapped significantly. The only major changes that they really could make is a brand new head coach, which I think Mike Budenholzer is very much ideal, and Tyus Jones. I think this is incredible. Given the situation that they're in, I give it an A+. I don't think they're my favorite to win the NBA Finals. It wouldn't shock me if they made a deeper run in the playoffs. Maybe they make it to the second round this year. But also, you have to see this from Tyus Jones's perspective. Out of all the teams that were probably trying to get his attention, this presented the best opportunity for him. A 1-year, $3.3 million contract for a player that was playing 30 minutes per game for Washington last year. And prior to that, he was averaging about 20 minutes per game. Now you get to start alongside Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Yusuf Nurkic. Your numbers are about to go up significantly. I mean, I'm sure he's hoping he gets a Rajon Rondo during the Big Three era type of season out of this. But even if he doesn't, I'm sure that the next time Tyus Jones becomes a free agent, he's definitely going to be making $10 million to $20 million annually, depending on how the season goes for him. As a Laker fan, I wish we could have gotten him, but at the same time, I don't blame Tyus Jones for making this decision. He finally gets to start, and he gets to start among 3 other All-Stars and a very savvy pick and roll partner for an established championship-winning head coach in Mike Budenholzer. So I think this is a great opportunity for Tyus. If you're a Suns fan, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Aside from that, this is our second upload of the day. We did a whole video on the Olympics earlier today. I'll leave a link to that in the end screen right in front of you. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.